Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. My name is Craig.
I'm Stephen.
We're here with Stephen today. I've been talking about him for the last few weeks, saying we're going to get him in for the finale. So thank you for being here.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, we're here. This is the last ever episode of Supernatural.
Yeah, really hard to see where it goes, considering last time everything just seemed to be wrapped up like it could have been a definitive ending for the show.
Yeah. It was definitely an end to the season. You know what I mean? It was the end to the conflict that was created for this season.
Yeah.
But I'm the same. I have two guesses on the general flow of the episode, but in terms of the content, I have no idea. Like, I feel like... Actually, before we get into that, what happened last time on Supernatural?
Chuck came back. Chuck thought he won, kicked the living shit out of Dean and Sam, and Jack fucked Chuck up and took all his power. Jack's the new god, which I don't know how that's going to go now. Is he still the same Jack, or do they have to kill Jack now? Is Jack going to have something wrong with him? So I still see there's an underlying thing, something with the big empty.
I think...
Or the empty.
Excuse me. I think, I've been talking about this in the previous reactions, but I feel like we might have a situation where the empty story is resolved. I feel like if they wanted to, that story could just be gone. It could be done. You know what I mean? Because I feel like if they were... I still kind of want Cass back, and that was one of my main problems with last episode. I've talked about it on this, but the fact that they didn't even acknowledge Cass or tried to get him back before Jack left, I feel like if they wanted to, they could have the empty side of the storyline be done. Jack could just be gone now. That could have been the end of Jack, and I feel like next episode... I have two predictions on how the flow of the episode could go. And me and Stephen only watched this 2 nights ago, I think, or last night or whatever. So we briefly discussed it, but we wanted to keep most of the story, or most of the discussion here for this portion of the video. But I feel like it could either start with a big time jump and just show what they're doing now. Yeah. You know what I mean? Living out their lives, or hunting still. I assume Dean at least will still be hunting because there's still monsters around, you know. And I don't see Dean settling down after he already tried. Although he could, you know, he might... he might have a different outlook
now at this point. Like, he can retire if he wants.
He might have a different outlook after everything that happened and what Cass said to him and all that, you know. Or we could get a situation where it jumps multiple times and shows us brief glimpses of their lives throughout different years in advance. That one is a little bit less likely, I feel, because it's not very supernatural. Do you know what I mean? It'd be like kind of a clip show type thing, but anything is possible. You know what I mean? I last episode seemed like a definitive end.
Be interesting to see what is in this episode.
Excuse me. I don't know what the content is going to be like. As I talked about on this already, I had a few problems with last episode. I thought the writing wasn't that great for certain aspects of it. I thought Chuck being God, he's meant to know everything.
Yeah. It wasn't much of a showdown either. I would have liked Jack to hop the bollocks out of Chuck a little bit.
And I feel like that could have been due to COVID. I feel like they might have had... Because the empty was there. They could have brought anyone they wanted back. I feel like there was meant to be more cameos. I feel like there was meant to be... Maybe the same route they could have went and got to the same destination, but there might have been different stuff in between, you know what I mean? I liked aspects of it. I liked moments in the episode. It was just how we got to things. Like Michael and Lucifer. I love seeing Mark Pellegrino back. He's phenomenal. I love him as Lucifer. I love him forever. I think he plays the role to a T. He's funny. He's silly. He is Lucifer. We didn't get enough of him.
No. It was only for maybe 10 minutes airtime.
Probably less. Do you know what I mean?
Beautiful introduction.
Oh yeah. What's that? And taking off Cass. He gave me a little bit of hope that Cass was coming back. But like, my main concern about last episode, or criticism, was that it was too fast. It felt to me like it could have been done in 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And they could have fleshed out the Michael and Lucifer stuff. And like, they could have cut out one of the filler episodes. We had 3 filler episodes when they came back. 2 of them I didn't mind, but the flashback with the kids I had a big problem with. I thought it added nothing to the show. They could have cut that out, fleshed out this episode more. It wouldn't have felt as rushed. The pacing was all over the place, but I liked moments in it. You know, I feel like I'm shitting all over the episode, but I'm actually not. I did enjoy moments. It's just overall, it didn't have the wow factor that the end of a series of Supernatural should have had.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this episode. Do you have any predictions?
It's really hard to predict where things are going now. I say it might be a time jump just to show, like, oh, they're settled down. They're actually living a free life now. Nobody's controlling them. and it could just be a complete bizarre episode where Supernatural always had a couple of mad episodes, and it could just be like them choosing stuff to do in life that they want to do, not what they were being forced to do. So it could just be incredibly entertaining and just off the wall mad.
Could be a monster of the week. What if it's just one last monster of the week to close it out?
Oh, it could end like just going out with them fighting a big monster, and it just
a typical
continue them. They just go back to work.
Typical old school Supernatural. Because I don't see them not hunting. While there's monsters around, I don't see them not hunting. Not at the moment anyway, not where they currently are. Maybe in the future they could. That's why I think there might be a time jump.
Not Dean anyway. Dean likes the hunting.
I was only thinking about, only a second ago as well, but with everything Cass said, he might have a new outlook on life.
Yeah.
He might want to go out, and he might feel like he deserves it after everything they've just done. And he finally, I have another tiny prediction. The fact that they have free will now. Do you know what I mean? They've achieved free will. Chuck is gone. Their lives have not being orchestrated. They also don't have a safety net anymore.
Oh yeah, so like nobody's bringing them back. They die. It's the last time for them to die.
Could we get a death last episode? I feel like it was too happy. We might not. I feel like it might
be a weird way, but it'll be how would they go about giving the death? Yeah. That'll be the big thing now. If it is to happen, they can't just have them just die randomly. Like.
I was just thinking, just because the only reason why I was thinking that is because of the episode earlier on in the show, in this season, when Chuck got rid of their safety net and they had to go and get Luke. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
When they were getting sick and everything, like that safety net is gone. So we could see, like maybe one of them gets sick and dies. You know, it doesn't have to be a monster. If we get a time jump, that's a possibility. I would be happy even with just a typical monster of the week. I do want, and we better get it. I want some cameos. I want to see Bobby one last time. I want to see Jodie one last time. We saw Jodie maybe once this season, you know?
I know, I'm hoping a little too much, but I'd love to see Crowley.
Yeah. I talked about it. There's no hope. There's absolutely no hope. The glimpse we got of him in the montage at the end of the last episode, I think that was it for Crowley. Because I know Mark Sheppard, I don't think he left. The last time I heard, anyway, he didn't leave on good terms, so which sucks, but we got a lot of Crowley throughout the show, so I'm happy about that. I would like to see Rowena again, but I think that's even more or less likely. I don't see Rowena coming back. I like where she ended up, though.
Yeah, she is the ruler of hell. She's one of the main powers now.
And she's doing it good. She's like telling the demons, the crossroad demons, they can't do deals anymore because people should end up where they're meant to end up.
Yeah.
You know, so that's cool. It's the best case scenario for hell, I think. We have a special guest today outside of Stephen. He was in the last episode. We have Castiel. I don't know where I'm going to put him though. I'm going to have to put him back here somewhere. Anyone that watched any of my previous reactions as well, I did a thing I think last season when Mark Pellegrino died. I got a can of San Pellegrino and I scribbled out San and wrote Mark, and I said I was going to drink this when he officially properly dies, because anyway he was going to come back, and I said I keep the drinking of it for the reaction. I didn't realise that like it's out of date by like 6 months because of COVID and everything, and I expected him to come back a lot sooner, so I'm not actually going to drink this because I don't feel like getting sick or dying. So we did bring, Stephen brought a bottle of wine.
Should we open this now?
We will. So we're going to toast 15 years of an incredible show with a nice glass of red. Because regardless of the ups and downs of Supernatural, the fact that this show has lasted 15 years, like a show of this style lasting,
getting that runtime on it's
incredible.
Amazing.
It's absolutely incredible. And like the big takeaway for me, the thing I'm going to miss more than anything in this show is just the cast of characters. You know, it's just the actors being together. Because I feel like the reason this show lasted as long as it did is because everybody liked each other. Everybody had fun. They went to work. They were friends, you know?
Yeah.
And it really translates to the screen as well, so...
Tell me when.
When? I'm drinking out of a gin glass, just in case anyone is criticising me. So we're going to do a cheers to Supernatural. 15 years, absolutely incredible. And then we're going to check out the new...
Can't wait.
I inhaled some red wine there. Check out the new episode. I have been taking questions from people over the last week about the show as a whole. So after this, we're going to do a full discussion about Supernatural, the whole series, I should say. So that's why there's no Q&A at the start. It's all going to be afterwards. So The after discussion will be a little bit longer, but it's a show with 15 seasons, and we did it for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and it worked out really well, so we may as well sit around and reminisce and talk about the show. And the question from you guys, I've seen a lot of them coming in. I haven't looked at any of them yet because of spoilers and shit, so I'm excited I might leave that in. I'm excited for that. Right, let's check out the new episode. Let's check out the last episode of Supernatural. We got no Wayward Son. Are they going to end this? They're going to end with Wayward Son. That's what they're going to do. I forgot to talk about that in the recap. Wait. No, they're going to end with it. They better end with it. It's my favourite part of every season. The dog. They took the dog. Unreal. That was probably someone's dog.
Yeah. It's your dog now.
Snooze or lose. That first breakfast after defeating God would have been unreal.
Yeah.
So earned. Damn. Need to get that tattoo. We better see Eileen again.
Looks like they might still be hunting anyway.
Because we got no confirmation on what's back. I assume the monsters are still back. I assume he just unsnapped everyone.
Yeah, just returned to things before Chuck snapped originally.
But like, is he going to create new angels? You know what I mean? Because heaven was powering down.
I got something.
Last time we're ever going to see that intro. What did I get? Carry On is the name of the episode. We're getting it at the end. I'll take that. Pie Fest.
Are you crying?
It wasn't even a case. Yes. He wasted a perfectly good pie.
For a very long time.
The guy in the background was laughing.
I feel better.
The episode with it. Oh.
Some kids with a knife.
Oh. It's the Purge.
You know what this is? Mimes. Evil mimes. Yeah, or vampires. Vamp mimes. All right.
Oh, that was fast. Jesus.
Oh, kneecap.
What if they're humans?
It looks like they might be. Like, why would a monster wear a mask?
Why would they drain the blood? Unless it's a trap.
Are they a cult? Are they doing it for some sort of...
Oh no, they're vamps. Never mind.
You get this. But if you take your time, you get that. Yeah. Oh, and if those kids are dead, he's gonna use a spoon.
Ninja star.
Come on, one time. No. Why not? No. But we could...
Could it have been a trap? Because they found them very easily.
Your man did tell them where they were.
Hey, boys.
Bait.
But I'm assuming vampires would have scouts and stuff watching their hideout. Anybody come near it.
Oh, that dude is big. Oh. One down. Oh. Dean is kicking ass.
Yeah.
Jenny. Son of a bitch.
I don't remember Jenny.
No.
Oh. Nice. Oh. Cock shot. Oh. That's getting used.
The knife stuck in the thing.
Yeah.
You want to run straight into it. Oh no, it's a rebar.
Oh.
Oh.
I didn't want it to get used like that.
There's some of some of my back. Oh, it feels like it's right through me. Oh, God.
They have no safety net.
All right, stay with me. Can you stay with me, please?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
We're not even halfway through the episode.
Can't die like this.
I'm so proud of you, Sam. You know that. I've always looked up to you. Man, when we were kids, you were so damn smart. I want to be with you. Right here. Every day. Every day you're out there and you're living. And you're fighting, because you always keep fighting. You hear me? Well, I did not think this would be the day.
Get fucking Jack on the phone.
Yeah, that fucking click a finger, Grant.
Jack,
That's okay.
I need a res.
It's okay. You can go now.
Jesus, I didn't expect that halfway
Not
through the
at
episode.
all. Wasn't even one of the vampires. It was a fucking thing in the environment. Environmental kill.
And I saw it and I said, that's going to get used. Thinking the fucking vampire was going to get impaled with it. Now we're going to get a fucking time jump. I hope he stops hunting and settles down with Eileen. But Eileen's a hunter as well. Would she settle down? He's getting a hunter's funeral. I hope we get to see... I don't know if we will. I hope we get to see Dean's heaven.
We have to, because it's halfway through the episode. You can't just cut out one of the characters and then just have one living on. There needs to be more Jensen Ackles in there.
Hello?
Hi, Agent Bon Jovi?
Agent Bon Jovi?
This is...
We've had a few bodies turn up, minus their hearts. A friend of mine, Donna Hanscom, she
Werewolf.
said where they
Werewolves,
got
yeah.
a call.
Just gonna be from
Oh,
Dean's
these-
side of things.
We're going to get to see his heaven. I assume he's going to go to heaven. I don't think Jack would send him anywhere else.
Well, at least I made it to heaven.
Yeah, he did.
Yep.
It could be OG Bobby.
Oh, it is OG Bobby, because he's the only one that's dead.
Idiot.
You idiot.
Yeah, it is. Set some things right.
Ah, can we see other people here?
All the walls up here. Heaven ain't just reliving your golden oldies anymore.
He changed heaven.
It's what it always should have been. Everyone happy, everyone together. Rufus lives about 5 miles that way with Aretha. Thought she'd have better taste. And your mom and dad, they got a place over yonder. Jack did all that. Well, Cass helped.
What?
He must have brought Cass back.
It's
Oh, baby got to heaven.
Hey, baby.
Is it going to end with one last drive? We'll carry on playing. Right. Yeah.
Love this song.
Unreal, they had it playing in the episode. Oh,
Sam
we're
has...
getting a glimpse.
You're getting the time jump as well.
Could they not get Eileen's actress back?
It looks like not, because the way they had her in the background,
Yeah.
it's like they intentionally hid her face.
COVID
Maybe
as well.
with, yeah, COVID just fucking shut down a lot of...
We
like,
haven't seen her. We haven't seen her since they got back filming. Oh
He
wow.
looks the exact same.
The hair. Oh shit, I didn't think we'd get this far into the fucking time jumps. What? Aw.
You can go now.
It'd be very weird because Sam would jump in with all of his new memories and stuff.
Yeah.
He'd almost be a completely different person, you know?
Hey, Sammy.
Dean?
Let's go for a drive.
That's that. Would have liked a few more cameos if we only got Bobby.
Through blood, sweat, laughter, and tears, you've kept us on. And cut.
That was nice.
Yeah.
Fucking cracking now about this.
Yeah. Lucifer would want you to drink it.
Yeah, I'd end up down there with him then. I don't know, he's in the empty now. Or knowing the fuck out of the monster,
Yeah.
the shadow in the empty.
What's up?
By that. So that is Supernatural. What did you think?
Ended the way like it already ended last episode. This kind of just gave a bit of finalization on it. It was like Dean was just dying. That was just the human aspect to it. There was no safety net, as you've been saying. It was like nobody was looking out for them. Just a bad fucking accident is what fucking got him in the end. And Sam got to live the full life.
Yeah, it was an epilogue, and like, I didn't want any of them to die. If one of them was going to die, I always thought it would be Dean, because Dean was the one that tried the quiet life already and failed, and Sam was the one that already sacrificed himself. Do you know, back in season 5? Yeah. So I felt like that if there was one of them going to die, I felt like it was going to be Dean. I don't really like how it happened, but I like it's good. Like I like that it was they went out kind of on their own terms. They got free will. This was like a way of showing they are free of Chuck, you know. And I loved the bit where he asked Sam for permission to go. Really got me. That was just great, and the acting overall in this episode was great. Yeah, it was different. I like it. It was an epilogue.
Yeah.
I like that we got a monster of the week. I like that it tied back to John, back to his journal. It was an unsolved. I don't know if they said it was unsolved. It was in his journal, so I assume it was unsolved because they were still around. But you know, it was. Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it.
OG Bobby back.
Yeah, that was great. That was like. I complained a lot about last episode about the stuff with Eileen. Obviously, the stuff with Eileen. It's my thought process for why last episode didn't have as many people in it cameo wise was obviously because of COVID, and they might have been restricted with all of that stuff. Obviously 100% true. I was wondering so much, and I said it loads of times in this episode, why is Eileen not here? Clearly it's because of COVID, because she just wasn't there at the end. So that's like, I can understand that. I commend them for waiting and then finishing out the season, because there's a lot of shows that just stopped filming and just used whatever they had left to end the season with. You know, I watched Flash and all that, and while it wasn't bad, but it didn't feel like a finished season. Obviously they were going to do that with Supernatural because it's the last season, but still, like, they could have phoned it in. So I commend them for doing it, but they definitely suffered in terms of cameos and stuff. But yeah, it was good. I liked it. I liked that Sam got to live out his life. I liked that he named his son Dean. I liked that his son told him the same stuff that he told Dean. You know?
And it seems to be his son is a hunter as well. He has the tattoo.
He might not be though. That might just be a precaution to not be possessed.
I have a feeling he's a hunter. I have a feeling Sam would have honored Dean by being a hunter. He was like, "You're not here to do this." Because Dean would have been the one to keep always being a hunter. He wouldn't have retired. So Sam would have been like, well, if Dean's not here to do it, I'm going to do it.
And Cass, is not in the empty. He's helping Jack.
Yeah, it would have been nice to see him though.
Yeah,
like,
it would have.
we got him like, oh, you're alive, but knowing he's alive is a good fucking thing.
It's honestly enough for me. I understand the last episode kind of being primarily focused on them because they started the show.
Yeah.
I'm kind of half like that. I'm also half in the mindset of Cass became a Winchester a long time ago. He became a main character on the show, even if it was still always about the boys. He was there. So I am the same as you, disappointed that we didn't get to see him. But I like that he's not in the empty. I like that he's there. I like what Jack did with Heaven. Unbelievable. Never expected to see it. I never thought about the fact that OG Bobby could be up there. You know what I mean? Because I was thinking of the different heavens, and then when even the camera was going up into the heavens and we saw Bobby there, I was like, fuck, maybe it's a shared heaven thing. But the fact that they just revamped heaven into what you kind of envision heaven to be, just this open place where people can be happy and be with the people that they love, is great. And he's just down the road from Rufus and his parents. I thought it was good. I love
it's how you like. It's hard to actually end 15-year show, so they just did it as humanly as possible. Like with Dean dying, it was like, fuck that, he died in such a random shitty way. But that's just general life. Anybody can just fucking like, oh, you're dead now, and you don't like it because you're never going to like it. But it's human, and he got to die free. Yeah, it wasn't under anybody else's thumb. He died fighting vampires, and that's the way that he always like go out swinging, and he went out swinging.
And he was, I feel like he was ready for it.
Yeah,
they've died and been like Dean alone in Mystery Spot when Gabriel had him in the loop. How many times did he die then? I know, like, was he technically dying, or was it just Gabriel in the loop? I don't know. But even still, like, he went to hell. The amount of times they've both died and came back is ridiculous. So I'd say it's even sort of a relief for him.
Yeah.
Because they know there's an afterlife. They definitively know there's an afterlife. So it's not technically like, I know you're dying, but you're still you. But there's something after, you know.
As for Dean, though, I was like, at least I made it to heaven. It was like, that would have been the only thing for him, because like there's been points where Dean was like, you're borderline, you could be a bad guy, but
even if we went to hell, he'd chill with Rowena.
They have contacts.
Yeah.
Down and up, so.
I know Jack said he was hands off. Jack wouldn't have let him go to hell. That's just facts. Listen, you can say your hands off all you want. Jack was never letting him go to hell. You know what I mean? Honestly, this episode, for me, it's the last I'm going to talk about last episode. It fixes some things. It still doesn't make it last episode perfect. I still think there was some bad writing. There was some inconsistent writing. But this episode fixes some of my problems with last episode. Like the cast. It still doesn't fix the fact that they'd never asked for Cass back straight away or like that. But it fixes the fact that he's not in the empty. Jack did do something, you know.
But Cass might just be like, he's not one of the Winchesters. He's an angel again. He's probably just fucking keep charge of heaven and shit.
I just realized, and someone can go back and look at this fucking video. I predicted this very early on. One of the Q&A questions, I think it was from Destiel, said, how do you think the show will end, or how do you want the show to end? And my ideal thing was obviously everyone coming out, but how I thought it might end, I said Jack could become the new god, Cass could be his right hand, and one of the brothers could die. Possibly Dean, and Sam living on with Eileen, living out a life. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And I was like, in my eyes, because originally I wanted Cass to become human, but then I was like, he probably wouldn't want that, and then Jack is on his own. So I was like, it'd be cool if Cass became a right hand to Jack, and then you have 2 and 2, and then
chances are Cass is probably an archangel now.
I don't know if you.
Well, Jack would probably,
because he's already a more powerful angel. He's a seraphim. Is it?
Or not Jack. Castiel's probably archangel. Like when you
that's what I mean. Cass. I don't think he can create. Well, he probably could create archangels, but
he's fucking god level power now. So
yeah, he could be like, he revamped heaven. He would have had to, because that was one of my questions going into this episode is, what did he do? Did he bring back all the monsters and angels? If he did bring back all the angels, I actually wrote it down. Heaven powering down, I wrote down, because I was like, heaven was powering down. I don't know if it was earlier on in this season or the late last season, because there was like no angels left. There was like 4 angels left total, I think, and that storyline was kind of just left. And then I was thinking, if Jack is going to be hands off, but obviously he just meant on Earth. He's going to be hands off on Earth, but he's going to look after heaven. So I assume he's just out there creating new angels.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that they ended it with Carry On. It was cool. The way they did it was great.
No, it was satisfying. It's like you can safely say it was like for the 15 years, it's just been a consistent, enjoyable show, and it's ended. It ended well.
Yeah, it's not like it's had its ups and downs.
Yeah.
There's been episodes. I don't think there's any episodes where I've outright disliked them, but there has been episodes I've been like the filler episode with the kids a few episodes ago.
Yeah.
But it's
But every TV series has that. Like, you have to throw in the filler
just
episodes.
24 episodes. It's usually 23 episodes a season. Every season, minus season 3 had the writer strike, I think, so it was cut in half. And this season had 20 episodes. That's a lot of fucking television.
Yeah.
That is a lot of television. And especially for a show like this, just the formula of the show and what it's about, I cannot believe it went 15 seasons. It's absolutely incredible. I loved all of the stuff with the mimes as well. With Dean and the mimes. So good.
It would have been
So
good if
good.
they actually throw in a vampire mime there at the end.
Yeah. Yeah. I was kind of hoping we'd see more people in heaven. Obviously, COVID can't.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed and I'm not disappointed. I would have liked to see them, but I didn't really think it was going to happen. But Joe and Ellen, and what was the other guy? Was it Axel? Was that his name? I don't think that was his name. He had the long hair. He was in the bar, and then he was up in heaven. He was helping him out in heaven. OG, like season 1 to 5 guy. I'm gonna look it up because I can't remember his name. I think it was began with an A. Ash, not Axel. Ash. Do you remember Ash? I'll get you a picture. It's he's gone a long time. He was in season 5 or 4. I think it was season 5 when they went to heaven. He helped him navigate heaven because he had a back door. Remember Ash?
Oh, yeah!
He was in the Roadhouse. I would have liked to have seen him
Jesus, yeah.
and Joe and Ellen. Joe and Ellen were early on because they like back in season 1 to 5. They had a lot of really good side characters that used to pop in every now and again. Joe and Ellen were two of my favorite side characters, and Ash. And Rufus was unreal, you know.
Seeing John Winchester again would have been nice as well.
Yeah. He's busy, man.
Jeffrey
Dean Morgan is busy.
Okay.
He got back here for the 300 episode, so at least we got one last glimpse of him, you know. Yeah. So I am going to. Do you have anything else about this episode?
No, it kind of just doesn't leave questions to be answered or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's just like,
It was a definitive end. You know what I mean? There's nothing really.
because at the end of it, time is just passed. They're both dead.
Yeah.
It's a complete, like, everybody's dead. And that's just how it is. Everybody's dead.
I will say that the last few scenes with Sam moved very fast. I feel like they moved so fast that some of the ones, I don't think they had the impact they were intending to. For me, anyway, the last scene with his son telling him that he can go, that got me. But the rest of them, they just moved so fast. We do have questions for the Q&A. We're going to answer the questions, and then because they're going to bring conversations out of it. So I'll answer the questions. Bring them up, and that'll spur conversations, and then we can talk about them, and then we'll just reminisce about Supernatural for about 10-20 minutes or whatever, or probably longer, but for you it'll be 10-20 minutes because the power of editing. Oh, well, this first one. So the first question is from Bat Flamingo. It's so if Jack put the world back, does that mean Jodie and everyone are alive again? And do you think they'll address it in the finale? At least a name drop. Yeah, they did. I forgot to say that these were going to be asked after the episode and not before, so a lot of that was answered in the show. Yeah, I just, like, even before going into it, I assumed that it was going to be just whoever Chuck got rid of were going to come back.
If somebody died naturally or it was like the course of something, they're probably still definitively dead. Just people that were poofed away.
Yeah.
Fucking brought back.
This next one is from Destiel. What's your favourite season of Supernatural? I'll leave you go first because I know mine.
Season 7, is that the Leviathans?
7 was the Leviathans.
Leviathans, I really enjoyed. Fucking Misha Collins playing the asshole version of Castiel when he was like, I'm the new god now, but it wasn't actually Castiel, it was the Leviathans inside him. But I found that version of Castiel where it was like, I'm all powerful. And him being just a dick, just really enjoyable. And I enjoyed the Leviathans in Purgatory. We had Benny.
Yeah, well, it was Castiel. It wasn't actually the Leviathans because he got drunk, he got power hungry, and he took in the souls from Purgatory to take out who did he have to kill? Was it Eve? No, it wasn't Eve. He took him in to fight another angel or something. I can't remember exactly. And then the Leviathans were kind of taking over and breaking out, and then he was like, Leviathans, and then they broke out and just rippled away in the waves. But yeah, that was cool. That season was fun.
Yeah.
It was a fun.
I like the whole purgatory thing of where where the monsters, like we've got to see hell and heaven where the people go, but seeing where the monsters go, and they're just fucking desolate wasteland of a world. But Benny being fucking great character as well, kind of got him back.
Benny was season 8.
Was he season 8 purgatory?
The end of season 7 was when Dean stabbed Dick Roman up with with the tooth thing up through here, and then he started pulsating and then exploded, and him and Dean got sent to the purgatory.
Oh.
And then season 8, it started with Dean escaping, and then you see him going off and he cuts Benny out.
So I'm just getting confused.
You're meshing the two.
Yeah.
Second half of season 7, first half of season 8.
If that can consist of just being in one season, that would be my favourite time in the show.
Yeah. For me, it's season 5. I think, I'm going to talk about this later on, I think season 5 for me is almost a perfect season of television.
That's how it was meant to. That's how our Kripke wanted to end. That was...
Yeah. I thought, the thing that made season 5 so well for me, I love, like, a lot of shows is done season to season. You know what I mean? There's not as much forward thinking, unless the show is planned in advance, which I like. But I like the culmination of years of work happening. You know, I love years of setup finally paying off, and season 5 was that from the very start, with Azazel touching Sammy and killing Sam and Dean's mother. All of that all came back, and it was all everything mattered and everything went for something, especially early on when you thought that it was all Monster of the Week stuff, and a lot of shit came back, and it was just so good, and I thought it was so perfect. Like season 5, to compare season 5 to this season 15 as a last season, I have a few problems with. I thought there was too much filler for a last season. I thought there was too much filler. Season 5, there was like 2-3 filler episodes total, I think. You know what I mean? That's what a final season should be. It should be, every episode should blow you away. Every episode should be going towards something. Every episode should be just fucking awesome. And season 5 for that was for me.
It did have Lucifer as well at his fucking just perfect Mark Pellegrino.
Yeah, that was before he got kind of silly. That was when he was trying to be a lot. I feel like I remember reading that people had a problem with that the fact that he didn't become silly until after he was in Sam's mind, I think. But Lucifer is a liar and he's a manipulator, and he might have been playing up to what Sam needed to hear to try and get him to accept him in. It was very different the way he was played, but I enjoyed it. It was a different Lucifer, and Mark Pellegrino was fucking awesome in that as well. But everything worked. Everything worked. I love season 5. I love season 5. Season 4 is up there with me as well. But I love season 5. I love it. Just because of how much everything pays off, you know. So this one is from Britbit. It's kind of long. Oh wow, that's very long. I will read the start, and I will actually, because I read all the comments eventually. I will read the rest later on. Your thoughts on Dean's death? Not that he died, but how it happened.
I think that was just to show the randomness of not being in a safety net, not being one of God's puppets anymore.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't have been they would have always had some sort of nonchalant way of going into things. Like, oh, we always come out okay. And that would have been Chuck pulling the strings. Dean dying in the way that he did, it was could happen at any time. You can't be aware of every single thing.
Yeah.
And nobody was no higher power was looking out for them. It was just two of them fighting vampires. Dean was just unlucky and got impaled, and that's how real life goes. You don't get to pick and choose when or how you go. You just go, and that's how it goes. So that's why I'm not too pissed off with it. He died fighting. Wasn't a vampire that killed him. It was part of the environment which he just mightn't have noticed, and dead.
I agree. I think it was a definitive moment where they know they are free from Chuck, and Dean accepting it and wanting to die is another twist on that. It's them it's on his terms, you know. Chuck is not dictating anything anymore. Chuck is not making them fight to the death. Chuck is not making them survive everything, you know. It's the real world now, and it's honestly what they were fighting for. You know, it sucks that he's dead, but it's what they were fighting for. They fought for the right to be able to do that and to not have someone else dictate your every single move. Like, I was honestly, we were talking about it before this, I was honestly expecting, I would have guessed it more than this death. Maybe a sickness or something. I was thinking maybe one of them was going to get sick and die that way, because it would be such a random way to die and completely different than what you would expect. But I honestly like that it was during a hunt. I like that it was almost a by the books hunt. Yeah, you know. Yeah, that's it. And they set it up. They set it up previously with the episode, because at the time you were thinking, right, it's just a half filler episode where Chuck took away their safety net, and then they had to go and get Luke, and it was like, looking back on it now, it was set up for this. It was showing that Chuck was keeping them alive, making sure that none of these small little things killed them. So when you look at it like that, it was set up well in advance. I can see why people would not be happy with it.
It's such a small thing to take somebody, like,
especially
as God said in the last episode, you're the ultimate killer. Like, Dean has just been, you could pit him against anybody and Dean would win.
Hey, that's not who he is. I agree. It's
makes it more human for the character as well. Like, he's not some unstoppable god. He was a person.
Yeah.
Fought and he died.
Yeah. Yes.
But he went out fighting, and that's what. And Dean always said, like, as long as we will always go out swinging, and that's what he did. He went out fighting vampires, and that's the best you could have hoped for Dean if he was to die.
Wes Mindo says it was a horrible finale. Okay, I don't think it was horrible. I don't think it was as good as season 5, but I don't think it was horrible at all. I think it would have been significantly better had COVID not hit. I think they were very, very limited with what they could do because of COVID.
Yeah, if they were able to have, like, standard shooting times and having no restrictions to who they could have on set, it probably would have been so much better.
Like, the fact that they didn't have Eileen at the end shows that they were limited with who they could have back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because Eileen was someone that they still kept in. They had plans for other people. Destiel says, do you have a favourite character?
Oh, I'm going to go with Crowley. I've actually always loved, like, he was the king of hell. He'll always be the king. That's why, like, I'm happy that Rowena got to take over hell, because as the way the show went, the way it ended with Sam's son, it's all like legacy and family have. Yeah. It's all been a big emphasis on family, and hell is still being run by Crowley's mother. Like, it's, but Crowley, I would just Mark.
I never even thought about that. I never even thought about the fact that it's still one of them. It's still I never even thought about that.
Like, Jack and Castiel are like, it's father and son. No matter what way you put it, like, Castiel is father of Jack, and it's always been like, the show is family. Oh, yeah. Family is important, and
the whole theme of the show is family.
And Castiel are just as much as Winchesters, but Crowley did get into that.
He did.
That was season 8 was the height of the Crowley, was when the angels were falling.
That was 8, yeah.
And that was the height of the working with Crowley. Like,
the end of 8 is when the angels fell.
I think Crowley was helping them the most in that season. It was like just going around with them, because Crowley was just one of the boys. And Crowley is just like,
Crowley was so good.
He was a good king of hell, where his hell was just one big lion.
It is. It's actually that's it. Like, he was such a cunt, but he was a fun, lovable cunt.
That's what you want for, like, the devil. Like, he was like, we're not technically evil. We're just down in this place that fucking God made. So they're just doing their bit. What Crowley was, he is just my favourite character. Him and Dean palling around together was so good. That was one of my favourite aspects of, or one of my favourite moments of season 9, I want to say, when Dean becomes a demon. Was that season 9? Was that Cain and Abel part, or did he become the demon after the Mark of Cain?
No, it was season 10. Season 10 he became a demon, because that's when Amara came into it, I think. Sorry, some of the seasons blur together. It's 15 seasons, so sorry if I'm wrong, but one of my favorite moments about Dean becoming a demon was that it was Crowley that was happy about it, and he was sitting there saying like, "Feel what I feel, see what I see." And then he opens his eyes, and then the next season, Crowley's the one that fucking goes to Sam and rats him out. He's like, "This fella's fucking crazy. You gotta come and fucking sort this guy out."
Crowley just wanted the smoothest run of things. Like he was just a dodgy businessman. That was it. But he was just dealing in souls.
He started off as a Crossroads demon, sure.
Yeah.
He started off as a Crossroads demon and ended up the King of Hell. Unreal. Unreal. That's a man with ambitions, and he saw them through. And he sacrificed himself for the boys in the end.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Because anybody that the Winchesters have been interacted with have changed people to the better. Like Ketch, he was an asshole. Winchesters turned him around. Rowena was a bitch when she came around. Like, she was proper evil, and being with Sam, for the most part, changed her completely, made her an actual decent person again. And it just all characters are just like. It's hard to actually pick a definitive best character, but Crowley just entertained me.
Side characters in this show are just unreal.
I think that's how you make a good story. Like, yeah, you have to have good main characters, but you need the best supporting characters to make the world feel fleshed out and more alive, and all the side characters that Supernatural got have just been on point.
Yeah. Mine is an obvious. It's this guy right here. Sorry, I said that away from the mic. It's this guy right here. Cass. In fact, Cass became my favourite in, I want to say season 5, but it might not even have been season 5. It might have been season 6. Actually, I'm going to take that back. Cass became my favourite when he said, "Hey, ass butt," and then Molotoved.
Lucifer was
Molotoved Lucifer. It was
ass
so
butt
fucking good.
Like, became a catchphrase after that.
Hey, ass butt. I actually have to show you the end of my previous video, because I did something with him that you'll like. Anyone that saw my previous video will have seen. Nobody commented on it in the comments. I'm very upset about that. So I laughed my head off when I was editing that. Cass is my favourite, number one. I think he's unbelievable. I love Misha Collins both as an actor and as a person, and his portrayal of Cass is unreal. I follow him on all of his social medias, and he's just a great person, but I just loved his portrayal. I loved his chemistry with the boys, his chemistry with Dean. His journey throughout Supernatural has been unbelievable. He was... I can't remember the name of the class of angels, but is it Seraphim? Someone correct me in the comments. Started off as a stoic follower of God, a warrior. Like he was no nonsense. Didn't take shit in season 4.
The first time is a Dean is the first one that bumps into Castiel, and I was like, "Oh, you're an angel. Can you save us?" And he was like, "I'm a soldier of God," and I was like,
"Yeah, no." He walked into Dean in the church at the end of the first episode of season 4, and he was explaining like, "I'm with God. I'm an angel of the Lord. We have work for you. And I gripped you tight and raised you from perdition." And then his journey through it is just unbelievable. You know, going from there to where he is now is just
when he
crazy.
became like the hippie when he just became human.
And when they went to the future, it was Dean went to the future, wasn't he? Yeah, because he saw Sam with Lucifer in him. So good. Close second for me is Dean. Dean became my favourite. Before Cass got introduced, he became my favourite in episode 2 because I resonated with him so much, you know. His love for food is what got me. But I just like Jensen Ackles as well. Honestly, Jared Padalecki as well. Like the main 3 are just incredible. Both actors and people in that. But I just love Dean as a character again, you know. And Rowena. Rowena is up there for me because I love Rowena.
She brought the same energy as Crowley. Like you could actually think that they were actually related. Yeah. The way their personalities are, they're so entertaining to watch them like do their thing.
Yeah. After that, it's just groups of people for me. You know, I love Joe, Ellen, Ash. I love Rufus. Ketch, I didn't like at all. You know, I like Charlie. Fucking Garth was unreal. You know, honestly, 90% of the side characters in this show were unbelievable. Even the bad ones. You know, what's her name? Katie Cassidy as the original Ruby.
Yeah.
Back then, demons were a challenge.
And
now they don't give a fuck.
That was the height of like, but now we all have angel blades now.
You know what's funny? And like, you can complain about it all you want. I'm very forgiving with shows with stuff like this, but think about seasons 1 to 4. I think it might seasons 1 to 5 probably. When they wanted to get a demon out of someone, they would exorcise them because they didn't want to kill the host. Now they just shank people. They just
there's a
shank
demon.
people.
Yeah, they did really they did make it a point to help as many people and like, oh, there's a demon, stab.
You could make the argument that what they're doing now and the people they're saving now, it's grander in scale now. You know, whereas before it was very small scale. They were saving individuals until the apocalypse and all that. But whereas now every season is a potential apocalypse, and you're dealing with gods and shit. Like, so you could look at it in that kind of way. I have a question. That's all the questions for the Q&A. Thank you very much for everyone that sent in a question. I really appreciate it. We got some really good ones. I have a few of my own just to keep the conversation rolling because, again, it's 15 seasons of a show. Are you happy that Supernatural went past season 5? You know the history of Supernatural. Yeah. Like, it was, for anyone that doesn't know, Eric Kripke made Supernatural. He made seasons 1 to 5. His vision for Supernatural was seasons 1 to 5. He dropped out after that. He said seasons 1 to 5 is his plan. That was all that was meant to be done. And then I think the last episode, they added on scenes at the end. Like, they brought back Bobby and Cass. Not Bobby and Cass. Was it Bobby and Cass? Yeah, Bobby and Cass. They brought back Bobby and Cass at the end and then had the camera pan down and showed Sam underneath the light. They weren't originally going to be there. Bobby and Cass were going to be dead and Sam was going to be in the cage. And it was going to end with Dean trying to live out his life. And then that was it. And then the network were like, fuck it, we have enough viewers, let's just keep going. And then it ended up keep going. And they had some issues with showrunners. I think they couldn't get a showrunner that was kind of consistent, I think, because they kept on getting rid of them every now and again. But the original vision for Supernatural was seasons 1 to 5. That's why seasons 1 to 5 feels so complete and tight-knit in terms of storytelling and overarching story. And after that, it took a few seasons for them to kind of get their footing again in terms of a long-term story. Because season 6 was about Eve and Soulless Sam, and then season 7 was about the Leviathans, and then season 8 is when they did like a long-term 3-arc story. Seasons 8, 9 and 10 were kind of all one arc. But my opinion on it, I'm glad they went on. I think we got some really, really good seasons and episodes past it, but I would not have been upset had they stopped at season 5.
No,
as I already said.
You wouldn't, because that's how it was written to be ended. But no, I'm very happy that they kept it going, because even though there might be some weaker episodes or not, we still got some fucking great fucking television for the next 10 seasons. Like, it's 10 years of television. Like, you know, the popularity and the need for it is there, and we got to get great stories for all of these characters as well. Like, if it stopped at season 5, we'd never get Rowena or anything like that.
Very true.
But
we wouldn't have got as much Crowdy. We wouldn't have got Scooby Natural,
which is fucking one of the best episodes.
Yeah,
fucking 100% happy it fucking kept going after season 5.
Yeah, unbelievable. 15 seasons. I have this is a broad. I have two good questions here. I'll ask one of them because one of them is a bit easier. Biggest disappointment of the show, not to be a downer, and this is like my I know my one straight off, so I'll say mine just to give you an idea of what I mean when I say biggest disappointment. My biggest disappointment of the show, I have 2. One of them is more than the other one. Was the demon? I have 3 actually, but they're kind of in the same vein. My biggest one was Demon Dean. I wanted more of that, and I feel like I understand why they didn't do it. They didn't want to upset the status quo. The show is about the brothers, and they didn't want to kind of put a stigma on the character.
Yeah.
If Dean goes off and does loads of stuff, even though he's not technically, he is, but he isn't. You know what I mean? He's a demon. But I wanted more of that. I thought that was unreal. I thought Dean as a demon was unreal. Jensen Ackles was great. Michael in Dean as well. I thought that should have went on a bit longer as well, and it's the same reason why they didn't do it. Excuse me. And then the third one is to start to season 15. I feel like season 15 should have structurally been different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With the way they set it up, with God basically unleashing hell and saying, I'm the bad guy, come at me. Like, they should have upset the status quo a little bit, went outside the comfort zone, did something different. But I still like season 15. I'm not slating season 15, but I feel like the potential for it to be fucking unreal was there.
Oh, definitely. Like, I think my most disappointing episode would have only been recently, like, with Jack taking God's powers. Like, we got to see fucking Chuck kick the living shit out of Sam and Dean, and Chuck didn't even get that in return. I would have loved to see Jack actually having like a cosmic fucking battle and knocking the bollocks out of Chuck, because he didn't even feel any pain fucking twisted his kneecap or something. Like he did so much to Sam and Dean. He got off so easy, and that actually pissed me off because like got off too easy. He's been an asshole for so long, and no pain.
I would have liked a broken leg.
Yeah,
Break a leg, break an arm, break a hand, break
finger,
something.
Snap a finger, anything. He didn't like. He's only been human for like a little bit now, and they haven't introduced him to the concept of pain yet.
Yeah.
And I was like, you can show him so much pain.
Some might say they introduced him to the best concept of pain, letting him know that he has to grow old and die now in this world with people that he despises, with a species that he despises, that he thinks are less than.
Yeah, but you can still do all of that with a broken leg. Like Jesus.
Yeah, I actually thought of a better, most disappointing moment, and people, I think everyone will agree with me. You will agree with me as well. I don't know how I didn't think of this first. This is definitively the worst moment in Supernatural. It was the wire fight.
The what?
The wire fight.
Oh, fucking.
When Dean runs to the camera and he's like, because you can see he's wearing a big bulky wire.
Was that season 14?
Season 14. It was the end of it. Is the fight between Michael and Lucifer in the church,
and it's like too slow as well.
It just didn't work. I think they came out and said themselves that they regretted doing it. It didn't work. They wanted the fight to be a bit grander. They should have hired me. Hired me for ideas. Listen, here's how you do a big grand fight on a low budget, right? You have them run at each other. Then you show the camera from outside the church. You show just bright blue lights, bright red lights, and then the church gets decimated off screen or whatever, and then you just show them and there's just rubble and shit everywhere.
Cut to them
you just need to show the destruction.
And the next fucking mile around them or something is just a fucking crater.
You just need to show the destruction.
Standing in the middle of a crater.
Creator? They're standing in the middle of Chuck. The creator. Yeah,
the wine's getting to me.
Yeah. Like the less you show is better. And I think they could have just showed the destruction, because I think the camera outside the church would have been good. You just show the different lights going off of their powers, because the whole thing about season 5, and this is kind of, I understand it. It's Supernatural has gone on for as long as it has because it has a relatively low budget for the show that it is. You know what they've done. The stories they've done with the budget they have is incredible, and that's why they have to do like the vessel thing for all the monsters and all that, which it's forgiving. I don't mind it because we get to see some great performances from actual actors and everything as well. But the big thing about season 5, and the reason why they couldn't just have Michael and Lucifer fight each other, is because it was going to decimate the earth. It was going to reduce the earth to rubble and kill most of its population.
And the church didn't even blow up.
And then the fight 2 episodes ago, last episode, they just threw fucking Dragon Balls at each other. And then Michael was like, I haven't been in a fight like that in centuries.
I'm fucking wrecked.
I haven't been in a fight like that in centuries.
You threw like 3 balls of blue light.
You threw a ball at someone. Come on, man.
Like even Chuck kicking the shit out of Sam and Dean had more effort into it, like, and it actually looked like every time you seen Chuck hit them, you could see wherever they had the blood capsules and stuff, but you could just see the damage being done, like.
But listen again. It's. I feel like I'm more forgiving with this sort of stuff with Supernatural. And again, like the lore stuff, you go 15 seasons, you can't just keep. You have to have some leeway with it. Yeah. When you're bending it instead of breaking stuff, you know, in terms of lore. But yeah, it's we've had some crazy ups and downs on the show. But when Supernatural has been good, it has been good.
Oh,
I've never thought Supernatural has been downright awful, you know, but it has been fucking incredible. That's the difference with the quality. I feel like it's never been really, really, really bad, but it has been fucking unreal. At the end of the day, it's always just been about the characters. It's been about the brothers and Cass and now Jack, and they've always been consistently good. Yeah. You know. And that's it. Like, thanks to Supernatural, I've become a fan of. I knew Jensen Ackles before Supernatural a little bit, but Supernatural made me a fan of the two of them. It made me a proper fan of Mark Pellegrino. It made me a fan of Misha Collins. You know, a lot of these people I had seen in maybe one thing or two things before Supernatural. Even Crowley's actor, I don't know, Mark Sheppard. Sorry, I've seen him. I had seen him in stuff before Supernatural, and then when I saw him in Supernatural, I forgot that I had seen him in other stuff. And then when I was rewatching other stuff, I was like, "That's fucking Mark Sheppard!" Like, he was in Firefly.
Firefly is the first thing. He's fucking one of the boys to deal with.
So, like, Supernatural for me, I leading up to this, even leading up to this final season, like Supernatural was a show for me that I never expected to end. You know, for some reason I just expected it to go on forever. It was just one of them shows, and it's crazy to think that there's not going to be a new episode of Supernatural next week. Like, I started watching this show. I'll tell you the history of me watching Supernatural. I never heard of it before. I was with a friend. We were out drinking in a pub, I think, but there was a group of us, and we used to do this regularly and just talk about shows and stuff. And he literally turned to me and he was like, "Do you ever hear of Supernatural?" I was like, "Never heard of it." He goes, "Go home after tonight. Go home. Watch it was on Netflix at the time, I should say. Go home, watch an episode of Supernatural, text me what you think." I went home. I got to the part where Dean is telling Sam Dad's gone on a hunting trip and he hasn't been home in a few days. And in my head I was like, it's going to be a Monster Hunter show. And I just texted him then. I was like, I'm in. And I sent him a screen cap of where I was in the show. And I was like, I'm in. It was like 10 minutes into the fucking episode. And I literally, when I started watching it, it was season 3 was airing when I started watching it. So when I caught up, season 3 had just ended. So I had to wait the gap between season 3 and 4. I watched it in about 2 weeks, I think. And it ended obviously with Dean going to hell. And I was like, I have to wait a year to see what happens to Dean. It just shows him strung up in hell like this, shouting out for Sammy. I was like, how am I going to wait a year for this? And then Cass came in, that beautiful bitch.
I didn't hear of Supernatural until the second place that we were living in. We
Yeah.
were living together.
That was only a year ago, I think, was it?
2 years,
2 years
ago
ago.
now. 2 years ago now. Never knew, never even heard of Supernatural, and then you just stuck it on one night. And I don't know how many seasons we binged in like 4 days. It was like 8 or 9 seasons we got through.
We were up all night for a few days just watching this show.
Supernatural. I was hooked instantly. Like Monster Hunting show, like it is like when you, and the fact that they actually really went into the lore of hunting monsters. Yeah. It's amazing. That's
what made it stand out. Like early on, that's what made it really stand out for me, is that if you actually go and look up some of the monsters, they really tried to keep it as close to the lore like that you could. I know the monsters are not real, but excuse me, the actual mythology of some of the stuff, even the angels and stuff. Like the rules for them and everything was fucking it's just really good, and the detail in the lore. Obviously, I feel like some of that obviously it's not as good now, lore stuff, because there's just so much piling on. But even still, some of the random monster of the weeks that they do now, like the random ones, like they did one a few episodes ago. I can't remember, but it was a new monster, and I thought it was really good. Like when they focus on that sort of stuff is good, because that was Supernatural at its best, you know.
It was like you could almost have it as an anthology series where it's just each episode standalone. We're just fighting this monster this week, and you could have a show like that, and people would be happy with it, because that's what you're watching for. Is like you want to see what monster they're fighting and how they're going to beat it.
That's why I was really annoyed that none of the spin-offs took off, because they tried for 2 spin-offs. One of them, they did a backdoor pilot in Supernatural. It was the Bloodlines episode. It was when they were in like was it California or something, and it was about vampires.
Oh,
and
the
stuff.
vampire clans.
Yeah, that was the backdoor pilot. That wasn't great. Now I must say that wasn't great. I don't think they didn't nail it with that. But they also did another one called Wayward Sisters. I think it was last season or the season before, with Jodie and the girls, where they introduced Kaya. That was meant to be its own spin-off thing, and I thought that would have been good. You know what I mean? I don't think the pilot they did. I thought the episode was fine. I don't think it did as well as it should have, because it didn't flesh out the characters as much. There wasn't enough time, but the potential could have been there.
I thought they were trying to plug another one when it was Cass and Jack in the was it 3 episodes ago, when Sam and Dean were like, "Oh, you and Jack can go sort out that problem," and it was Cass and Jack went to look at it, and it felt like that was going to be a spin-off, like Jack and Cass.
I'd watch the shit out of that.
Like fucking it'd be
I'd
really
watch the shit out of
entertaining.
that.
Like anything with Cass, like
I'd watch the shit out of just Cass and Jack just fixing everything.
yeah.
Just give me an 8-episode miniseries, the super duper adventures of Cass and Jack.
Yeah.
And they're just fixing heaven. Unreal.
Anything else? Any more questions?
I have one. It's kind of broad, so I have. I think I have an answer. So if you don't know off the top of your head, I can answer mine first. It's favorite episode or episodes, because there's so many. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, like Scooby Natural would be one of mine, just because it was so off the wall mad, and the fact that they went into an animated universe.
It was done so well.
Yeah.
Like it felt like a Scooby-Doo episode.
It was done with the animators
Yeah.
as Scooby-Doo,
Yeah.
so it was a Scooby-Doo
Yeah.
episode, and that's what makes it fucking unreal.
Yeah.
It's,
And
it was Scooby-Doo,
And they integrated
and it was
into Supernatural in a supernatural way, which was so good. I'm not gonna lie, a lot of my favorite episodes are the really funny, wacky, funny ones. I said funny twice there, but they're kind of the wacky, funny ones. Two ones that aren't funny. I love Swan Song, which is the finale of season 5.
Yeah.
I love Lazarus Rising, which is the first episode of season 4, the introduction to Cass, for obvious reasons. I do. Some of my other favorite ones, I don't have a definitive favorite one. I think there's too many episodes. I like different ones for different reasons. Bad Day at Black Rock, which is the one with the rabbit's foot. Do you remember that? They get the rabbit's foot. It was the one where they're doing the fight and Dean loses the rabbit's foot and they start getting bad luck. And then Dean picks up the rabbit foot and he starts getting... Dean picks up the rabbit's foot and your man is trying to hit him and he's just moving out of the way.
Oh.
And he gets the pen and throws it in the gun. And he goes, a Batman. And then Sam was like, yeah, you're Batman. That whole episode was unreal. And then Sam falls over and scrapes his knees. He's like, what happened? I lost my shoe, and his shoe falls down the drain. So fucking good.
No, the
So
mad
good.
ones were like, I always liked the wacky, but I like that in most TV shows now,
Yeah.
where they kind of deviate from being a coherent thing.
Mm.
Where it's like, let's just see what kind of entertaining show we can make today. And Supernatural have done that so
Excuse me.
many times, it's unreal.
It's hard to do, in my opinion. It's hard to have a serious show. It's hard to get the line. If you have a mainly serious show, it's hard to get the line right, the balance between comedy and funny stuff. And Supernatural did it so well, and they did it while using the supernatural elements in the show, which is really good. Like the first introduction to Gabriel, when we didn't even know he was Gabriel. The episode was called Mystery Spot. You know, these are my favorite episodes when I remember all the fucking names of the episodes. There's no other shows where I remember the names of the episodes. Mystery Spot was so good because
Was Mystery Spot Dr. Sexy when they're on the
yes,
Doctor
it was
show?
when Dean kept dying over and over and over again. No, Mystery Spot was a different one. Or the one that you're thinking of. This is the one where Dean kept on dying over and over and over again.
Oh.
The one you're thinking of is Changing Channels, I think it's called.
Yes, when they go into the TV
Yeah.
shows. Or the one where they play their real life selves. Like Jensen Ackles.
That was I know the name of this episode.
Was that a Gabriel episode as well?
No. That was they went through a window and came out somewhere else. I think Cass sent him there to be safe or something. My favorite part of that episode was when Cass is there and he's talking to him in the Cass voice, and then he breaks and does his normal Misha voice. And he's like, "Hey, how's that, guys?" It's so good.
No, that was an entertaining one.
The French Mistake, I think, is the name of the episode where they're in the real world. But Mystery Spot, that was the episode. There was 2 episodes when I showed this show to you that I couldn't wait for you to get 3 episodes. It was Cass coming into it, because Stephen early on was like, "Fuck, I wonder if he said something about, I wonder if there's angels in the show." And
Because there was demons in
Yeah.
it, and I was
he posed the
asking
question, and I
about
was just sitting there kind of, in my head I was like,
didn't reveal shit to me at all.
I'm very good with not revealing stuff when people are trying to. When I'm showing people shows, they're always trying
But
to
I
get
always
stuff out of me.
assumed that would come up because they have demons in it, and like, if they're going with that whole lore thing, if there's demons, there has to be angels.
Yeah.
But Cass is like, out of all the angels, he is the best angel. Like.
But yeah, Mystery Spot was an episode as well that I couldn't wait until Stephen got to, just because it was so bizarre. Because the episode starts with Dean dying, and you're like, "What the fuck?" And then it comes, "Heat of the moment." Come on, Sammy, pig in a poke. Oh man, I love it.
Very entertaining show. And I'm happy that it got 15 years, because 15 years of entertainment for people. Like, it doesn't even matter if you didn't enjoy the last episode or not, you still got 15 years of enjoyable television. And that's like, a lot of shows don't even get close to that nowadays.
I think, like, I'm okay with how things ended up. I feel like it could have been better. You know, there's certain circumstances that were out of their control that happened. COVID being a big one, that kind of, I feel like, was detrimental to the last season. I don't feel like it was a bad...
Oh no, it could have been a
End,
lot worse.
you know?
I'm happy with the way it ends.
Yeah.
Because it's over, and that's what you want. You want it to seem like, oh...
Cass is with Jack, which means Cass got out. The boys... Sam got to live his life. He had a fucking child, he named it Dean. The two of them are together in heaven. Heaven has changed.
And heaven is their with everybody. They want to be with. Like,
everybody.
They're as happy as can be now with.
Because they're off Earth now, fucking Jack and Cass could pop in and just chill out with him and hang around with him.
Yeah.
Why not? Like, you know what I mean? Unreal. And they finally get to just rest and not have to hunt. I love it. I don't have anything else.
No, I've not had that. It's been an enjoyable watching experience throughout the entirety of it.
Yeah. One of the other episodes that I couldn't wait for, sorry for the awful segue, but one of the other episodes I couldn't wait for you to watch when I showed it to you was the episode where John finally comes into it. There's 2 episodes when John comes into it. The first one is when they go to the town and Missouri is there. Do you remember Missouri, the black lady who had a psychic?
Yeah.
She came back a few seasons ago. But they were in the town with her and they were doing something with her, and then she left, and at the end she's there, she just starts talking and the camera pans and then John is there and he's like, why didn't you want me to tell him and all that? And I was like, because you were always like, I wonder if John's going to come back into it, and I was like, he fucking is. And then the next one is when he actually finally comes back and they go on the hunting the vampires in it, and they have all the shitty machetes and all the shit weapons, and then he opens up his thing and he has like fucking pristine fucking carbon fiber stuff. Oh, it's unreal. Or whatever, carbon fiber, I don't know what it is, but unreal. Unreal. I think that's it, guys. Yeah. I think that's it. I want to do a special thank you to all of you guys for checking out my reactions over, especially this season, because this season the Supernatural reactions have gotten more interactive with you guys, more excuse me, more back and forth with you guys than any of the rest of the seasons. I think I started in season 13, I think, towards the end of it. So thank you guys for that. I really appreciate it. I appreciate all of you guys. I have a poll up at the moment for what I'm going to react to next. I decided I'd leave it in your hands because you're the ones watching the videos, So I got suggestions off you. I made a poll. There's a load of stuff on it. There's Legion season 2. There's The Mandalorian. There's The Boys. Lucifer. Currently, The Boys is winning, but that's only 2 seasons. So if that wins, I can still do something else in between, because I think season 3 is announced. Jensen Ackles is going to be in it. Eric Kripke is writing The Boys and directing it.
I watched the first season of The Boys, which it's very enjoyable.
Yeah, that's why people have been telling me that Eric Kripke is making that, and then Jensen Ackles is coming into it. I'm looking forward to that. So I'll put a link down below for the poll if any of you guys want to vote. Also in the comments, if you have a suggestion for another show that you think I should react to, put it down there. I'll put it into the next poll. Some people have been suggesting stuff like Grimm and stuff. If it's not in the poll in the next one, I've already watched it. I've watched a lot of Grimm, and there was a few other ones that were suggested that I have already watched. So, but I appreciate all the suggestions and stuff. I can't believe we're at the end of Supernatural. Quickly before we go, actually, I was thinking going into this, and it was one of the reasons why I even put out the fact that one of them could possibly die. I was thinking they wanted to give a definitive end. They definitely gave a definitive end, more so than I expected. But I was thinking, like, could they come back for a movie? They technically could. Because how many times have people been resurrected in this?
A lot. And considering Jack is like bestie to them, it was like, hey guys, I have a problem to sort out. Go kill this fucker for me, and Sam and Dean back in the game. You could do a once-off special.
You could do anything. It doesn't matter. You can do anything you want. So there's a cause. The Empty comes back. The Empty is pissed off with Jack.
And it was hinted at a lot of the times, like, you don't fuck with the Empty because it's that powerful.
I have it. The Empty's pissed off with Jack because he broke Cass out. Jack needs help from the boys. He brings him back down to Earth or makes them angels or something. Boom, Supernatural movie. 15 seasons of the movie. Start a petition. Done.
No, definitely do.
I would watch a movie.
Yeah.
I would watch a Supernatural movie just to have all of these actors on screen together at the same time. Get Mark Sheppard back. Get Rowena back. Sorry, I don't know Rowena's actress' name. I really should at this stage. But honestly, they definitely... Is it?
Root O'Connell?
It's definitely Root something.
It's Root something or other anyway. So halfway there.
I think I would love it. I think they could do it if they wanted to. I feel like the way they ended it in a way where they're like, we're not going to do it. I feel like it's a very definitive end. with them being in heaven.
It is like they're dead now. They're dead, and they actually
and they're happy.
Yeah.
So, guys,
it seems like they weren't. Oh, sorry.
No, you go.
It seems like they weren't happy without each other. It looked like.
Oh yeah.
When Sam's son was like, "Yeah, you can go now," it just seems like Sam just wanted to be with Dean again.
It was always them.
Dean was just driving around in heaven waiting for Sam. Now they get to go fucking fight monsters in heaven, if there is monsters in heaven. But
probably not. Drink some beers with Bobby.
But you
go
get
over visit the parents.
whatever, like as Bobby said, you get whatever you imagine, so they can imagine themselves a couple of hunts. So
yeah, it's good. The scene between Sam and Dean got me. Like I feel like they definitely. It's the same with the Cass and Dean's scene. Knowing now that was Cass's final scene, the tears were probably real because these are people who have been working together for 15 years. For Cass, it's a tiny bit less, only 3 years less. But these are people who have been working together for years. They've basically become family. They become what they've been pretending to be on screen. So the tears for them, I'd say, was definitely real. It's them, like Jared and Jensen. They're probably still going to be friends in that, but they're not probably going to see each other every fucking day for 6 or 8 months of a year or anything anymore. However long they film, you know. So I feel like the tears were real, and it definitely bled into their acting and their performances, and it was great. So I just wanted to give a props to that before we finish up. That's it. I have a Castlevania video ready to go out, so I'm probably going to have that next week. So I will probably start The Boys the week after. If this video is a little bit later than usual, it's because it's a lot longer, so I apologise. I hope you understand why it's a little bit later than usual, and I hope you enjoy the video. We put a little bit extra work into this one, and I got Stephen down. Stephen came down. Thank you for coming, Stephen, and joining in.
It's always good to watch a good TV show. Like, I can't complain. You don't have to thank me for enjoying good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, so that is it. Again, I'm after saying it loads of times. Thank you very much, guys, again. I hope you will check out my other reactions. If not, thank you for tuning into these ones. Hit that like button, subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts about this episode in the comments below. Let me know about your thoughts about Supernatural as a whole, about this season, about this finale, what you thought about it, what you thought about Dean's death. Did you agree with it? Are you happy that Cass got a definitive... We definitively found out what happened to Cass. You know, he wasn't just left in the empty. Let me know your thoughts about all of that, about Sam living out his life, everything. As I said, I'll be back next week with some more Castlevania. The week after that, I will start The Boys. I will be streaming this Sunday. What day is today? It's Saturday. I'll be streaming tomorrow. And yeah, and that's it. Thank you very much again, guys.
Cass.
I gotta have Cass here. And we'll see you next time.
See ya.
Pull me from the ashes so I could soothe your frightened mind and let our souls collide. Rising tide so we can ride away.